We are going to start in a moment. We're going to start in butterfly pose. Very simple. Feet together, 2 hands length away from your groin. Lift up your chest, and with your exhale, roll down wherever down is for you today. So lift up nice and tall, maybe even throwing your head back a little, and then curl down. Let your head be heavy. Let your mouth be relaxed. Your tongue soft. And just allow your first couple of breaths to help you notice what you're bringing onto the yoga mat with you. Notice if you can remember any of your dreams. If you're finding yourself practicing in the morning, maybe even if you're practicing in the afternoon. What's been with you in that dreamy region of your awareness? Take a couple moments to notice how your thinking is. Both the early morning and heat can make us a little slower in our thinking. And then take a couple moments and notice what emotions are present right now. And then start to notice physical sensations in your body. See if you can soften anywhere, maybe your jaw, your temples, let your elbows be heavy. And with your next inhale, roll up. Place your hands back behind you. Place your feet on the ground, and you're going to lift up your hips, drop your head back, stick out your tongue, look at your third eye, and whisper a roar like a lion. 2 more times. 1 more time. And then with your exhale, bring your hips back down to the ground. And you're going to bring your left heel in towards your groin. So bring it a little closer than it was in butterfly. You want about 90 degrees between your thighs. And then just do a little dance, throwing your elbows high, noticing how that gets into your upper back a little bit more. And then finish your twist over your right leg and soften and bow down over your extended right leg. So you can feel how maybe you're like leaning to one side. See if you can have your weight balanced in your hips. And once you've adjusted and wiggled around, then start to soften. So when we have a practice, it can be of yoga or 1,000 other things that we do every day or we do quite regularly. It can be so easy to kind of check out. I don't know if you remember in school, perhaps saying a verse first thing in the morning or hearing kids the way they say it. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. You know, like nearly the rhythm of the verse can kind of like, people can space off and think about something else. But instead, allow yourself to be in your emotions. Allow yourself to be right here in this moment. Everything before is showing up with you in the yoga mat in this moment. And everything to come will come. So one of the ways to renew something, to enliven something, is to rediscover your reverence, your wonder, your curiosity. With your inhale, roll up, and we're going to stay with our legs in this position. And we're just going to reach down our right leg with our right hand and sweep our left arm up and draping it over your left ear without losing your chest. So maybe your hand reaches your toes, maybe your hand reaches your ear. Like keep your arm more over your head than in front of you, Layla love. Or you can also bend your elbow and kind of bring it behind you. The key here is really trying to extend and stretch your whole left side body. So you can kind of figure out, do you hate it? Do you love it? Somewhere in between. And then what do you do to actually create reverence? So reverence means to revere something, where you put it higher, where you can get this feeling with when you walk into a cathedral or with a sunset that takes your breath away. You can even experience reverence when you witness someone being extraordinarily generous or compassionate or kind. So if you want, you can just try putting your arm behind you, Paulina. It might give you a little bit more peace in this pose. So it's more like you have your arm behind your back. See if you can soften for the next couple of breaths without losing your heart. And notice how your breath feels in this particular shape on this particular day in this moment. And then inhale up. And you're going to take your left hand behind you and stretch the whole right side of your body. Ta-da! Beautiful. You can make a sound if you'd like, and then bring your hips back down and switch your legs. It's going to be awesome on this side. Okay. Feel the foundation on the ground. Find the right angle and do a little dance. Maybe you need a little bit more of a hippie dance. Maybe that's the softness you need, or maybe you need a little edge today. So you kind of season the practice to make it your own. And then finishing with your twist over your beautiful left leg, bow your head down, soften into the pose rather than trying to force the pose. And with your eyes closed, perhaps, follow the path of your inhale as it moves into your body. Notice how there is a natural pause. And then follow the path of the exhale as your breath leaves the body. Recently, I had this beautiful experience of breathing into my body and feeling like my ribs echoed the vaulted ceilings of cathedrals. But notice how much space you have inside of you. How much capacity. And that even when you exhale, you do not lose the space, the capacity. We want to find our own body and insides and beingness on our yoga mat as a revelation. It's extraordinary how well your body works. It's magnificent what's possible in your feeling life, in your thinking life, in your dreaming life. With your inhale, roll up, keeping your legs as they are, and then turn away from your gaze from your left leg and looking at your right knee. You're going to reach down your left leg and then reach over your ear. So maybe just hanging your arm over your ear, over your head. It looks a little bit like you're trying to, hide away from the world or something. And the key here is not to let your chest collapse. So maybe you adjust your arm. Maybe you just add a little bit more breath to an uncomfortable situation. This element of revering something, of seeing something that is mystery and beauty at the same time, it can refresh our presence, our capacity to be patient and to observe, to notice as if the curiosities are part of the message. Remembering that each encounter we have with a human being is another new opportunity to become more ourselves. Even the encounter with our own inside experience. The way a practice can uplift us, or at least kind of make everything okay for the coming day. This element of renewal is partly fostered by sleep, but definitely also with your participation. Take 5 more unhurried breaths. And then after your fifth breath, inhale up, take your, that's the right hand behind you, stretch your whole left side of your body. It always feels a little bit like, ta-da, at least for me. Breathe into it, maybe a hint of a smile for a radical practice. And then let your hips sink back down, and you're going to cross your ankles and roll over your crossed ankles and slide into Sphinx. It's like sliding into first. No, okay, baseball references are not the crowd. But keep your elbows just slightly in front of your shoulders. Maybe wiggle your hips slightly, stretch through your toes so your feet aren't sickled. Maybe take your shoulders up into your ears and drop them down a couple times. Or maybe you need a little sassy Sphinx wiggle. And then, as if water stills after you've thrown a pebble into it, just see if you can start to let your body settle. We have this incredible experience in our body that, on one hand, it obeys all the laws of this earth, the laws of physics. Wow. But in our inner life, there is a completely different set of parameters. Maybe you imagine that vaulted cathedral ceiling inside of you. You know, we can picture the whole night sky with these millions of stars we can't even name, but we can picture it, and it comes alive inside of us. We have this capacity to be non-linear in our inner life. Maybe you've had the pleasure of studying non-Euclidean geometry. But when you do, you start to notice that the normal kind of Euclidean geometry that we learn, it has all of these theorems, these theories that it's based on. And so certain things can't happen in Euclidean geometry, that when you change the theories and the base rules of geometry, it changes how things change or how things happen. And the reason I bring up geometry is not that that's like, oh, we're doing a math yoga class, which might have its merits, but that really what we notice is we can continue on a path, and we have these like certain set of rules. But one day we might notice that some of those rules are totally made up and based on nothing except for, fashion or popularity or the common idea of the day. And that when we change the perspective from what we're looking at something, all of a sudden the limits you thought you had are different. So it's beautiful, like in Euclid-based geometry, Euclidean geometry, parallel lines never meet. They're always parallel. And in non-Euclidean geometry, such as projective geometry, those lines actually end up crossing at infinity. And this little detail makes it so you can do mathematical equations where something literally turns inside out. So we may have been given this setup where we have this outer body and this inner life. And then we have this personality that bridges the two. But part of our work is to allow this turning inside out to happen so that all that is unique and special and you gets a chance to be shared with the world. You might want to extend your arms for the last couple of breaths of this pose into seal. And I've been noticing it's often quite nice to actually come out of yin poses instead of by like collapsing it and coming out of it that way, to actually energize into the pose and come out of it with like a little lift and energy. It's a great idea if you want to take your chin up to the ceiling and purse your lips and kiss the sky good morning, or the ceiling, but the thought of sky. Feel how much of your body affects the way you move your face. Now, if you're feeling particularly frisky, you might even bend your knees and see if your feet reaches your head. But you have to keep reaching back with your head. Beautiful. And then with your exhale, come out of the pose. Wiggle your hips around, moan, groan. Definitely don't bark like a dog, it'll just get confusing. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, shift your hips back to your heels. Taking your knees comfortably wide, stretching your toes out, coming into child's pose, balasana. So as we look at this pose, feel this pose, I'm reminded again about this connection to reverence that as a child, we had no problem with. We have, as a child, there is much more this habit of wonder and awe. But when we get lost in our intellectualism and our smartness, it's so easy to forget how little we know. Inhale, roll up. And take whichever seated position you'd like. Maybe you want to sit on your toes. Maybe you want to sit in Sukhasana, half lotus, full lotus, floating lotus. Take your hands to heart center. Feel your thumbs push against your breastbone. Push your palms together so you can feel the inside of both of your hands. And again, let's hike our shoulders up into our ears like 3 or 4 times. Looks really funny with our hands like this. And then drop your shoulders down. Beautiful. Now bring your chin to your chest and then lift it up too high. And then feel, where can you find that medium where you're extending the back of your neck and keeping your chin lifted away from your chest. And then softly close your eyes if they aren't already. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. And then release your hands down and find your way into tabletop. Tabletop. Isn't it nice? We have these like romantic names like mountain, Sphinx. And then there's tabletop, bringing the sacred back to the table. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Stretch your right arm out in front of you. And then reach back with your left foot and stretch your left foot behind you, actually your whole leg. And now take a moment and just reach your arm a little bit away from center and reach your leg a little out from center. And notice how much heavier your limbs got. Now bring them back to center so your right arm and your left leg are lined up with your spine. Pull your abdominals up. And with your exhale, bend your elbow and knee, pull your belly up and touch them together. Inhale, get long. Even your fingernails reaching. Exhale, tap it in. Inhale, get long. Exhale, tap it in. Inhale, stretch your arm and leg long. This time with your exhale, tap it in and take it out to the sides in awkward bat. Feel your back body lifting, especially your arm. Exhale, tap it in. We're just doing 3 here. Inhale, take it out to the side, awkward bat. One more time, tap it in, out to the side. Now this next time you're gonna tap it in and transverse and stretch your right arm forward, your left leg back. And then you're gonna keep your left leg lifted and you're gonna bring your right hand onto the ground and stretch your left arm up to the sky in supported half moon. And then bend your left knee and see if you can hold on to your left foot. And once you have that grip, maybe you can, behind you, maybe you can find that your hips can come a little forward and it's a little bit of a back bend. Beautiful. And then release your left foot into the sky. Place your left foot down on the ground. And then we just have one little power move here. We're going to lift up the bottom knee. Oh, yeah. And then place it back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and then just get a little sassy here. So you're wiggling your hips side to side. Maybe a little dance. Maybe you do little lemniscapes, thinking about how Reinhold cleans a table. And then come back to center and stretch your left arm straight forward. Reach your right leg back. Play a little bit with the center line. Feel it in your body so you can take your limbs out a little too far on this side again. Notice how much more challenging or work. And then bring your limbs back to this extension of your spine. Take a full inhale as you get longer. And with your exhale, bend your knee and elbow and tap it together, pulling your belly up, arching your back. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, tap it in. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, tap it in. There was one more stretch if I didn't count wrong. Reach it long, maybe not. And then take your elbow and knee together. This time you're gonna open up like a bat. Exhale, tap it in. Open up, little wings. Exhale, tap it in. Open it up. And exhale, tap it in. On this time, you're gonna extend your arm forward, your leg back, reach long, and then allow your left hand to come underneath your left shoulder and open up into supported half moon. So I like that you had a gate moment there. Stretch long and then bend your right knee. See if you can hold on to your right foot. Feel your hips a little bit coming forward. Just a hint of a back bend. And then release, extend, and come back down. And this time we're gonna move into cat and cow. So with your inhale, lift your head, oh, the power move. We don't wanna be messed up. Thank you, Pear. We'll just do the power move. So you have your left foot on the ground and you're lifting up your right. Oh, goodness. Now we're really powered up. Great. Well done. Okay. Come back down. And then inhale, lift up your head, your heart, and your hips. Exhale, push the ground away. Inhale, lift up your head, your heart, and your hips. And with your next exhale, come into floating cat. So you're going to lift your knees off the ground slightly. Maybe pushing your toenails into the ground, maybe tucking your toes under, and exhale, come back down. Now this time you're going to lift up your knees and then slowly reach back with your hips as far as you can, keeping your knees deeply bent, coming into bear pose, and then extend your legs into downward facing dog, most likely keeping a soft bend in your knees. Feel your fingers reach forward, down and forward. Maybe find a little movement in your downward facing dog, or maybe you need a little bit of stillness. You want to start to feel what can you change in this posture to make it more of a resting pose for you, or a releasing, renewing pose. Take another full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, fly your arms up, really feeling your back body fill with air. Reach through your fingertips. And with your exhale, hug the back of your knees, letting your head drop. Then release your arms and reach down with your heels, roll all the way up to the sky, stretch up tall. And with your exhale, bow forward all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel your spine long, hands on the ground this time, or your shins. And then step back to plank. Now from plank, just take a moment and look too far forward and look at your belly button afterwards. And then find where is your neck an extension of your spine. That's where you want your neck to be in plank. Now inhale, inch forward, first to your tippy toes, and then bend your knees, drop your chest, put your chin on the ground, keeping your elbows in. Extend your legs, lift up, low cobra. You can always test that your back's doing the work. Exhale, downward facing dog. So you can come back onto your knees, tuck your toes, and then extend your legs up. You want to feel your breath moving in and out through your nose. And you can start to imagine that your breath is acting like a bellows on the fire. So your breath heats up your body, which is good. I know that's not what it sounds like, Layla, but it is good. Your body loves being warm. You have less pain in your joints. Things work better. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, and then hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, fly your back body as you reach forward with your chest. Exhale, release and bow down, hugging the back of your knees. Then root down and roll up and stretch all the way up to the sky. And with your exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float this time and come to chaturanga if you're ready. Ashtanga namaskar if you're not. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale, just stretch your right leg up into the sky. Bend your knee, let your hips spin open. And then play with your alignment. So you're going to let your hip keep twisting open, but I want you to even out your shoulders. And notice if you start to lift up onto your left fingertips, it actually helps even the shoulders. And maybe you even daringly let your left hand float, or see if you can hold onto your foot with your left hand for a moment, or just slap it like for a really moment. And then when you're ready, bring your left hand down. Nice, Brigitte. And with your exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb. Let your left knee come down to the ground. Stretch up. And then you're going to let your right hand come to your left thigh, and you're going to lift a little bit higher with your left arm and come a little bit more into the back bend. Now you're going to open, this is the weird part of this move, is you're going to let your left shin swivel. I can't remember the last time I said that. Let your left shin swivel. So you're going to take it out behind you as you open up to the long side of your mat. Yeah, that was the move. And then you're going to straighten your right leg and bow towards your right leg. Very nice, very nice. Then inhale up and rewind. Come back to center. Exhale, chaturanga or the ground. Very nice. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra or whatever. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Bend your knee, let your hips spin open. And now to orient back into the rest of our body, even though our left leg is doing something different, see that you can extend both sides of your ribs and your hips, and then lightly come onto your fingertips on your right hand. So just floating your right hand for a nanosecond even. Maybe lift up your foot, maybe hold on to your foot, maybe just give your foot a therapeutic slap. And then with your exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. And you're going to rise up, supported crescent lunge with your back knee on the ground. And then you're going to drop your left arm down and reach for your thigh. Inhale, lift up and enjoy a little bit of this back bend here. And now comes the time. Oh, yay, it's the shin swivel. And so you're going to take out your knee, not your knee. You're going to take your shin out. And so you have this strain posture here. And then you're going to stretch your left leg and reach your right hand towards your left leg. So this is gate pose. So Paulina, take your right foot coming straight behind you. So do you see on pair there? It's like a kickstand. So take it towards the chairs. Yes, beautiful. And then we're going to swivel back. So we come down here, tuck the back toes under, exhale, sweet chaturanga. And then inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So just drop your knees to the ground in child's pose. If you want a little rest moment more deeply, feel free to stay in downward facing dog if that suits you better, maybe bending your knees. But it's so useful to remember that in your vinyasa, this moment where you're tying the poses together by going to chaturanga, from plank to chaturanga, to upward facing dog, to downward facing dog, that on some days you might be doing that like so well and so full of energy, but the next day you're not. So sometimes you might just need to just reach back to downward facing dog and wait for the rest of us to catch up with you. This is your practice. So you have this power. Inhale, lift back up, tucking your toes under, coming to downward facing dog, feeling your hips pull up and back with your exhale, emptying your breath all the way, and then walk or float your feet up in between your hands. Inhale, fly your arms, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your booty, inhale, Utkatasana. And with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center, hinge forward like halfway, turn your thoracic spine to the right, and then drop your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Inhale, let your heart be opening here as you push down on your lower hand. Take one more full breath cycle. So take a full inhale, exhale, then inhale up to center, being brave and staying low in your Utkatasana. Bring your hands to heart center again. Hinge forward at your hips halfway first, and then twist to your left, and then place your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, pulling your right knee back. So when you push down on your lower hand, your chest expands, your shoulders can go down your back more. Maybe bend your knees a little bit more, Layla love. Yeah, baby. And then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, tap your right elbow with your right knee. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb and rise all the way up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, let your right arm slide down and then reach for the back of your thigh and deepen your back bend on the inhale. On your next exhale, find warrior two. Inhale, reverse your triangle pose. And exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee and tap your elbow with your left knee. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your left foot all the way forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. Let your left hand come down. Reach for your right thigh. Did I say it backwards? Yes. Inhale, lift up to the back bend. And with your exhale, find warrior two. Come deep into your left knee. Inhale, reverse your triangle, lengthening the whole left side of your body. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, up doggy dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now invite a bend into your knees and maybe just start to shake, to vibrate, to wiggle. So you pulse your heels up and down. Don't worry too much about doing it wrong or right. Just see if you can get this shake going so that your soft parts jiggle. Feel your breath climbing and getting a little bit more intense. We have one more little juicy round to do before we're done with our efforting for this yoga class. Take another full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then walk or float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, glide your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. And with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center and twist to your right. After you've gotten your left elbow hooked forward, here's the challenge. See if maybe you can put the weight into your right leg and stretch your left leg back. With your next exhale, let your left foot come to the back of your mat. You're in twisting Anjaneyasana. And then inhale, you're gonna reach. Oh, I did that wrong. Reach your right arm back. Lifting, expanding your chest in the weird twisting back bend that we've been doing. And then with your exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your triangle pose. And with your exhale, you're going to hinge forward into half moon. So allow your breath to be full and fierce, active in your lifted leg. And now lift up so you float your fingers of your bottom hand for just a moment. And then with your exhale, you're going to step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, Utkatasana. And with your exhale, take it to the left, twisting to the left. Inhale, let your heart lift up here. And then start to shift your weight into your left leg. Floating your right leg, reach it back. So bravely keeping a bend in your standing leg. Play with it. It's okay to fall as long as you can get back up. And then lightly place your right foot in the back of the yoga mat. Here you are in twisting Anjaneyasana. And you reach for your right thigh with your left hand and lift your right arm up, other arm. Yes, beautiful. And then with your exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your triangle pose. And exhale, fly into half moon. Or gently lift up into half moon, whichever is working for you today. Okay, move the space, like increase the space between your shoulder blades. Ah, beautiful. And the power move here is to float your bottom hand. Sometimes it's even nice to take your bottom hand to your shin. And then release your right foot next to your left foot, toe heel your feet out and drop down to garland pose. Oh yeah, baby. Let your heart lift. You've done a great job. Now this one particularly is for Layla. You're gonna stick out your tongue. Yay. And then you're gonna curl it. So you have like the chant, like not curling it back the tip to your nose, but curling the sides up if you can. Else just keep your tongue sticking out. Take your inhale over your tongue and exhale through your nose. Inhale through your curved pipe of a tongue. Exhale, take it in. So you're doing that. Beautiful. You're a natural, Brigitte. Okay. This is a cooling breath. Anytime that you're overheated, it's not subtle. People might notice you're doing it, but this can cool your body down in a sauna, in a sweat lodge, in a hot moment. Okay, place your hands on the ground and just see if you can wiggle your arms behind you. And then maybe see if you can stretch out your legs. Most likely. Oh yeah, point those toes, Sabine. You got it. Lift your butt. Yay. Nice roll. Okay, and everybody roll onto your back. Whether you got there on purpose or not, it's the right place to be. You're gonna have your knees bent, and we're gonna close our class with one bridge pose and then a twist. So slide your heels close to your buttocks. You might choose to do robot arms. This can really help activate your back body. Squeeze your elbows in. Push down with your elbows and your shoulder blades, and then puff your chest up. And then roll your tailbone up towards the sky, lifting up and coming into bridge. Now make it active. Your chest is reaching for your face and your knees are reaching away. You can take your hands like as if you're carrying trays underneath your lower back if you want, or bring your hands together below your back, interlacing your fingers in the classic variation. And again, maybe you need to close your eyes, but notice the quality of your breath in this shape. We want to practice meeting our edges physically so that our breath is challenged and renewed. Lift your hips a little higher. Remember, subtly squeezing energetically your knees towards one another. Yes, that turns on your legs. Imagine being able to stand up from this pose. And then slowly let your spine roll down. Wrap your thumbs with your fingers. Let your feet slide out and knock together, elbows by your side, and make little circles with your wrapped thumb finger fists. So you're doing like the little pom-pom. Maybe you're cheering for yourself. You did a great job. Feeling how your breath renews your energy. And then come down to stillness. Take a full couple of breaths. And let's just do a simple twist. So hug your left knee to your chest, stretch your right leg long. Pull your belly to your spine first, and then let your left knee come across your body to your right. Oh, I'm doing the twist backwards today. It's glad to know we can do things differently. In our practice, we usually twist to the left first. It's another way to get reverence for something is do it differently than you always do it. And then inhale, lift back up to center. Squeeze your other knee into your chest. Stretch your other leg long, and then take your twist to the other side. You can adjust your shoulders too. Sometimes that's nice. It's okay if your opposite shoulder isn't on the ground. In this case, your right shoulder isn't on the ground. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, sigh out some goodness. And then return to center and do whatever else you need to do before coming into Shavasana. Now, this corpse pose, at first, it might seem like that's the pose you do nothing, and that if you're going to skip anything, you should skip that one. And it's exactly the opposite. You can skip most of your practice, but just don't skip out in Shavasana. This is where your actions, even your attitudes or your insights, take root in your physical body to keep you renewed for the day. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Invite a little movement, maybe some wiggles and jiggles. And with your inhale, stretch your arms up over your head long, reaching your feet away from your hands. Get really stretched out. And then with your exhale, curl into a ball, rolling in tight and coming onto your side. Feel the vibrancy, and then help yourself up into a comfortable position. So take whichever seated posture works well for you, but really being mindful of activating and lifting your spine. Bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes and feel this reverence in your own body in this moment together. And let's sound one Om to close. Empty your breath first. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And so much love. Yeah.